Top stories: 3 injured following taxi violence in Pretoria and over 1 million Palestinians to enter Jerusalem today. Good morning, I'm Vabakshni Chetty. 3 people have been wounded in a clash between members of 2 rival taxi associations in Pretoria. Tshwane Metro Police spokesperson Isaac Mahamba says shots were fired as members of the Simunia and Tembisa taxi associations argued over routes this morning. 9 people have since been arrested. Scores of passengers who mostly use the services of the 2 rival groups between Pretoria and Tembisa have been left stranded. Mahamba says they are monitoring the situation.
What we can confirm currently is that 8 people have been taken in for questioning, and we can confirm that amongst them there is a possibility that some of them might be arrested. And during that squabble in the morning, we can confirm again that there are about 3 people that were assaulted and 2 people that fired shots. The allegation is that they fled the scene. So we are still establishing as to who are those people, and we jointly with the SAPS, we are going to make sure that they've been arrested.
Some roads in Ekhaheng Township in Potchefstroom in the Northwest Province are blocked with burning tires. This as members of the DA and civic organisation Sanku marched to demand an investigation into corruption allegations against ousted ANC Mayor Maphehle. Sanku says they also want to know the whereabouts of shares which people of Potchefstroom allegedly bought when a mall was built in the city centre. Our reporter Mutupi Sekaku has more.
The residents of Ekhaheng in Promosa, they started this morning by blockading the road with a stone and burning tires, and they say no one is going to work. They started with what you call work by court. So no one is going to work. They forced everybody to go to the stadium where they're going to assemble and start their protest march to the municipalities of Klokwe, where they're going to hand over memorandum against what they say. They have been raising the issues concerning the malpractices and corruption at local municipalities against Mayor Maphehle with the ANC.
Economist Davi Ruot has warned that Eskom will continue to cost the taxpayer money if the government does not urgently work out a plan for the parastatal's survival. The power utility has been criticised for failing to meet the end-of-year deadline for the completion of its first unit at the Medupi power station. It says it will manage to complete the unit by the middle of next year, citing labour unrest as one of the reasons. The power station is considered critical to South Africa's energy needs. Ruot explains.
They make estimates and assumptions on things like, for example, demand and the price of coal and the cost of capital and the like. The point is they're going to get it wrong because the economy is something that changes all the time. Eskom has been costing the South African economy very, very dearly, and they will continue costing us a lot of money. And it's not because of them. It's because the politicians simply won't set them free.
Staying with that story, Eskom's Kanan Lakmiharan had this to say.
The initial challenge in the next 2 years is not as big as the last 3 years of the MYPD3 determination. You put in place a program, business productivity program, because it's not about efficiency. It's actually about re-looking at how we do business. So we've had to look at our capital expenditure carefully, our resources, the things that are outside our mandate or not so clear. And these are engagements we're having with government about exactly what we will and will not do.
Public Service and Administration Minister Lindiwe Sisulu says the Abatembu King, Buyelekhaya Dalindyebo, should be called to order. She's been speaking at a TNA SABC business breakfast in Sandton. Sisulu's statement follows some statements the King has made about President Jacob Zuma, calling him a liar who only thinks of himself. Sisulu says President Zuma deserves some respect as the head of state.
The King of the Abatembu is my king. And it is my desire to meet with him and have a discussion with him, not as a minister of government, but as one of his subjects.
Meanwhile, earlier the ANC Youth League sent out a strong warning to the King, saying he should refrain from insulting President Jacob Zuma or face serious consequences. Further afield, more than 1 million Palestinians are expected to enter Jerusalem today to participate in the first Friday prayers of the holy month of Ramadan. Israeli security forces are on high alert as thousands of Palestinians gather at West Bank checkpoints trying to enter Jerusalem. Our correspondent, Mel Frickberg.
Nearly 30,000 Palestinians had already entered Jerusalem by 8 a.m. Friday to pray at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, one of Islam's holiest shrines. Israel's civil administration and units from the army and police are deployed at various strategic points in case of clashes. Many Palestinians are unable to enter Jerusalem because Israel won't give them security clearance. In the past, confrontations have broken out around the mosque and at checkpoints as some Palestinians tried to sneak through. Some were arrested and beaten. Mel Frickberg, SABC, Ramallah.
Recapping the top story, 3 people have been wounded in a clash between members of 2 rival taxi associations in Pretoria. Tshwane Metro Police spokesperson Isaac Mahamba says shots were fired as members of the Simunia and Tembisa taxi associations argued over routes this morning.